to Stuart for setting it up. We're on plan B because I brought some slides but we can't connect to the projector, so I'm going to improvise. Bear with me. I've been a socialist since I was about 16, an environmentalist since I was about 18, and one of the things that made me an environmentalist was just over 50 years ago, plus a month, there was a picture from the Apollo mission that went around the moon called Earthrise. And in 50 years, we've come a long way in terms of appreciating that we've only got one home in the universe. It's the only planet we've got, and we need to look after it, or it won't look after us. It's as simple as that. Just imagine that you could hold your arms out and touch the edge of the planet. It's a sphere. You can hold your arms out. We depend on clean air, soil, water, rain, the biosphere, growing stuff, living stuff to keep us alive. Yeah. So if you could hold your arms out like that, pub quiz question: how thick do you think the biosphere would be, roughly? Anybody?
1 inch.
An inch. Any advance on an inch?
2 millimetres.
How many?
3 millimetres, 2 millimetres.
Yeah, you're right. It's about half your pinky nail. That's it. It's if it was an apple, it would be the skin of the apple. That is all that's keeping us alive. And the problem is we are doing it very severe harm. All of us. I mean, we. All of us. So the title of the talk that was advertised is Climate Emergency, and it's an emergency because although it doesn't seem like it, you can walk out the door and everything seems normal. The science says we've only got 12 years to cut in half the carbon emissions from burning coal, oil and gas in order to prevent global warming exceeding 1.5 degrees on average. Now that doesn't sound like much. I've got a chart here which I can hang around at the end that shows you the difference between 1.5 degrees and 2 degrees and then damage it's doing to crops, to coral reefs that we depend on for generating all the life in the sea, species loss, sea level rise, etc., etc. So it doesn't sound like much, but it's going to make a big difference if we don't get a grip. So I wanted to just rattle through 5 points, and these were on a poster that was waved about in a demo in 2016 after Donald Trump got elected, and he came in on a platform of opposing climate change and calls it a Chinese conspiracy. So it was a pro-science demo, and it said, it's warming, it's us, we're sure, it's bad, and we can fix it. And I want to focus at the end on the fix it bit and why socialists and trade unionists should be campaigning for climate justice. That's the takeaway for tonight, for this audience. So, it is warming. I had a fantastic picture which shows temperature rise over the last 150 years. And it's been bouncing up and down. The last 10-15 years, it's gone up and up and up. And the forecast that came out from the Met Office this morning says it's going to carry on going up, and we are going to exceed 1.5 degrees, not permanently, but on a statistical basis. And the problem with that is it's generating extreme weather events, floods, forest fires, drought, crop loss, and from a humane point of view, a massive and growing problem with climate refugees who are fleeing terrible situations because they can't grow enough food, or there's war breaking out because people are fighting over what resources are left. It's definitely us. It is us. The science is now completely clear. The growth in output of carbon dioxide, which is the main polluting gas from burning coal, oil and gas, has shot up, especially since the Second World War. And I've got graphs aplenty on here which show you the thing rocketing off, and it's still going up. despite all the greenwash you get from various governments about, oh, all right, we're tackling it, it's still going up, and it's forecast to carry on going up unless we do some drastic changes. We are completely hooked on fossil fuels. We use it to get around, we use it to generate electricity, we use it to grow our food, we use it to heat our homes, and all that has to change. The good news is we can change that by generating really good, high quality, permanent, skilled jobs. And I think that should be of interest because it's something that's trotted out as an argument in favour of all manner of stuff, like expanding Birmingham Airport, for example, which is just going to make the problem worse. The climate science is now pretty settled. There are clearly uncertainties because it's a big complicated system, but there's no reasonable doubt that the primary cause of global warming is the emission of carbon dioxide and methane from the way our industrial society works. The scientists know that, the politicians have tweaked apart from Trump. The problem is that because the fossil fuel industry has spent tens of millions of dollars over the last 20, 30 years spreading uncertainty, the public do not really get that yet. They're getting it more and more, but they're still behind the science. And that is a problem, because if we're going to base our policies on evidence, which we should be, and on justice and on fairness, the labour movement and the organised trade union movement should be pushing hard for action on climate. I'm not going to depress you by talking about what will happen if we don't do anything, but it's seriously bad. And if we don't do anything, we're heading for something like 4 degrees rise by the end of the century. That's average global temperature rise. The extremes will happen at the poles, and that is already causing extreme weather events like the recent massive freeze in North America, like the massive drought that's been going on for years in Australasia, like the movement of food sources in the Antarctic Ocean. I could go on and on and on. And 4 degrees is enough to trigger melting of permafrost in the far north of the Arctic Circle, and that's going to make the problem even worse. So we really, really, really need to get a grip. So, how do we do that? We need to stop burning something like 80% of the known reserves of fossil fuels. There are something like $22 trillion worth of known fossil fuel assets on current values. Okay, that's what's on the books of all the companies like that we know and love, like BP and Exxon and all the rest of it. If we burn more than 20% of that known reserve, then we blow the Earth's budget for carbon dioxide emissions. So we've got to keep it in the ground. And to do that means we've got to substitute, we've got to stop wasting energy, which we've done because the stuff was cheap for so long, we just got used to it, and we've got to substitute fossil fuels for renewable energy sources, like solar, wind and so forth. Doing that, cutting waste and moving to renewables will generate a very large number of permanent skilled jobs. And the TUC and the Campaign for Climate Change have had a long-term campaign called 1 Million Climate Jobs. I could share reports if you're interested, detailed studies of where those jobs would be and what kind of jobs would be produced. Nobody's arguing with that, but nobody's investing in the miner, and that is the problem. The investment is still going to the wrong places. There was a report last week, the new gas find in the North Sea, and everybody's celebrating. And they're going, oh, it'll generate 200 jobs. Well, yeah, but we can generate 1 million jobs by shifting the UK economy and many more worldwide. And despite Trump, things like the wind and solar industry in the US and many other nations around the world is growing in double figures. So it's happening all around us. I believe that there is a very significant role, which we haven't seen in the past, for workplace trade union organisations to shift the thinking of workforces and management and shareholders to get a grip. Basically, the organised labour movement needs to be in the vanguard of this shift in the way we operate the economy and society, and stop using fossil fuels and move to renewables and more respect for the planet, frankly, because if we don't respect the planet, it won't respect us. It's just as simple as that. Internationally, the International Labour Organisation and other bodies have been lobbying the UN conferences for many, many years, and that's under a sort of banner position of what they call the just transition. And that's justice for the workers in sunset industries who, like oil, gas, coal mining, whatever, who've been abandoned by the Tory government who attacked the miners. They were just abandoned to their fate, and that is not acceptable. We need to support those people and for retraining, redeployment, and support their pension rights and all the rest of it. And also justice for the basically the poor and vulnerable people worldwide who are going to bear the brunt of this first. I mean, in the long run, if we don't do anything, we're all in the firing line. But there's people nearer the front than us. And if you can see this picture, it's the one thing I really did want to take away, right? That hourglass shape, the top bit, the wide bit at the top, is the 10%, and we're numbered in the 10%, who produce 50% of the carbon dioxide on the planet. The bottom 50% of the population of the planet produce virtually none of that pollution that is harming the atmosphere, but they're taking the brunt of the impact at the moment. So just transition is about supporting them to adapt to the impact of what we have done over the last 250 years. Fair enough, we didn't mean to do it. Until the last 20, 30 years, we didn't know this was happening, but we do know now, and we have to act. If we don't act, very bad things will happen, and millions of people, frankly, will die. Okay, it's that bad. The environmental movement, and I've got a foot in two camps in terms of lifelong socialism, but lifelong environmental campaigner as well, has made some terrible political mistakes. And I think the fact that I would bet that you don't often have talks about this at this forum is a reflection of the fact that there's been this parallel world going on. There's people worried about, you know, plastic in the oceans and all the rest of it, and global warming, and you are here worrying about very important things for people's day-to-day lives. I acknowledge that, and I agree with you, and I've got scars from privatisation as well. My blood pressure went up when we had the first talk earlier. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, but these are not exclusive things. It's not like we can do one and not the other. We've got to do both. And if we do both, we can build a better society, because environmentalists and the labour movement internationally want exactly the same things. We want a better life for working people. We want fairness and equality and justice and an end to war. Most of the wars in the 20th century were over oil. Yeah? People talk about the invasion of the Soviet Union by the Nazis, yeah, and the attacking Stalingrad and all the rest of it. They were actually after the Caucasus to get access to the oil fields in the Caucasus. The war in Syria is as much about the planned Iranian pipeline as it is about the access to the Mediterranean military zone. Yeah? So oil in particular has caused an immense amount of suffering worldwide in the 20th century, and we can easily do without it. I feel for the workers in the oil industry who will be affected, but we are the labour movement and we can look after them. So, thank you for your time. I hope this would be the start of a dialogue about how the organised labour movement and the rising tide of environmentalism in society can actually join forces, because we basically want the same thing. Thank you very much.
I'll take 2 or 3 questions. Now, come over, people have not raised questions before, to give other people a chance. Mike David.
The biggest problem in this country is that Michael Daly, Unite West Midlands 5203 branch. The biggest problem as I see it, Chairman, is that we missed the boats quite a while ago. Some 50 years ago, we were looking at, and the biggest polluter is the generation of electricity, or what? And indeed, some 50 years ago, we were looking at harnessing the seven France looked at St. Malo at the same time. France went ahead, we said, we had a big inquiry, and it would affect the upper reaches of the Severn as far as the wildlife was concerned. And St. Malo had been running on a tidal catchment scheme for some 50 years, I believe now, and still working. We are now looking at Swansea Bay, 50 years later. And indeed, we failed to put the infrastructure in this country to save on the climate program. We are now panicking, it's a crisis, and they're looking at fracking to solve that energy crisis.
Yeah.
My God, what a way to go.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and indeed, if you look at the electric cars which are doing that, when they make the batteries and they've got to replace it every 3 years, that's worse than what a petrol car turn out for its lifetime. The amount of problems they get with the pollution from just making the batteries. And indeed, it begs belief for what's happening.
Can I respond to that? Nobody's saying this is going to be easy. I've got a friend, I was trying to start a conversation with her about climate emergency, and she said, oh, it's really complicated. Actually, the basic science is dead simple. What is complicated is how we deal with the situation that we've made for ourselves. And I don't dispute that it's going to be a difficult transition. It's going to be easier to do the transition than do nothing and then deal with the aftermath, because that is going to be awful. If we don't act, we are in serious trouble. I was going to use a rude word, but I won't. But yeah.
Richard?
Yeah. I think whenever we get a speaker on a general issue, one of the things we need to think about is what are the implications for what we can do as a trades council and a labour movement in Birmingham and the West Midlands, as well as, of course, supporting national campaigns and the general arguments. So, what would you think we could do in relation to local politics? For example, the politics of the City Council, which does have a policy on clean air and so forth.
Yeah.
Or in the and in relation to the West Midlands Combined Authority, which also gives a nod to environmental issues.
A very small one.
Yeah, exactly. But how can we prise that open?
Well,
and just to finish, and also in terms of the local economy, and obviously what comes first to mind is the automotive industry, Jaguar Land Rover, also Aston Martin. So what specific demands can we make? What specific initiatives could we possibly take to try and move the debate forward at that level?
Well, thank you for the question. Off the top of my head, and I'm not saying these are in any priority order or something, but these are things that are active suggestions going on at the moment. Look to the council on my right at this point. One of the things that's happening in many towns and cities, not just in this country but worldwide, is to get the local government to declare a climate emergency. Yeah, because if you do that, you've actually set the bar up here, and everybody then has to go, oh, actually, it's a climate emergency. We now need to do something. It's official. We can all. It's like putting a flag on the hill. That means we've got to act. And ACTI then fans out across the organisation and to all the subcontractors and all the rest of it. You can put things into contracts about making sure they've got sustainability policies, all these things are measurable, all the rest of it. You can mandate it. I was at a meeting most of yesterday about the sustainability strategy for the Commonwealth Games in 2022, about embedding a lot of those principles in the Games, because there's going to be hundreds of millions of pounds circulating. And we can use that money as a lever to change the way that companies operate, to move investment from dirty technology to clean technology, to retrain people and all the rest of it. So, and we can also use it to remove plastic. The council's already passed a motion about removing plastic, single-use plastic bottles and stuff like that. So there is stuff we can do. So that's at the kind of local government level. Within union branches, I think there is a case to be made, and I would be very happy to talk to anybody in the room about moving this forward, and I'm sure Bob would as well. Bob and I work together on the Climate Action Network. There's some leaflets over there if you want to take one away. Is to actually work with workplace representatives, shop stewards, safety reps, all the rest of it, and work with them to work with employers on embedding those whole sustainability principles in each workplace, in each company, whether it's public sector, private sector, don't care, charities, I don't care. Everybody needs to do it. A lot of people are doing it, but it's not quick enough. It's not enough, fast enough. And I think that would, you know, Stuart the other night pointed out, you know, is it 6 million total union membership in the UK? I mean, that's a big army. If we can mobilise 6 million people to do something about the climate emergency wherever they work, that would make a massive difference.
Okay, final question. We now need to move on. Final question, please.
John Webb, Unite, WM 6141 branch. I've got solar panels on the roof. There's battery backup. I used to have an hybrid car. Till somebody run in the back and locked it up for me. The new one I've ordered. The emissions are 29 grams per thousand, right?
Yeah.